Hello guys, Gore Got You here, bringing you another Black Ops 3 gameplay. This time I'm playing on Combine, and this game is actually 7v4. I'm playing with two other friends, Marv Got You and Chasing Shadows. In this game, me and Marv absolutely go off towards the second half and really just claw this game back from the brink of devastation. And that's something I want to talk about before I start today's subject, is that since the beginning of this game, I've been getting in lobbies that are 7-man v whatever. Now, it should be maximum 6v6, that's how publics work, 6v6, that's the max it's always been, the max it always will be. I don't know why you're getting these weird moments where it's 7v4, 7v5, that's just not, I don't understand how that's happening. I don't know if it's an Xbox One thing or if it's a Treyarch thing, but please Treyarch, sort it out, because it's been happening for far too long, it really is irritating, and it doesn't seem to sort itself out. But today what I actually want to talk about is completely unrelated to gaming, somewhat. And this might well be in a few parts. I'm not really too sure how long I'll ramble on about it, but I want to talk about weight loss. Now, I put out a Facebook status recently talking about my weight loss journey, which over the past nearly 12 months I've been on quite a big journey in losing weight. I was never morbidly obese, but I was in the area of 16 to 17 stone, and now I'm in the area of roughly 12.5 to 13 stone, and that's a big difference. And I really want to tell my story and explain how I've done it, why I've done it, why I was big in the first place, and what you can potentially do if you're big and you're worried about it and you want to do something about it. Now, what I really need to do here is start from the beginning. Now, I was born in the late 80s, I'm 29 years old. During the late 80s, the early 90s, and all through the 90s really, I believe that we were in a sort of TV dinner mentality. I think most of us are, certainly in the Western world, certainly in Britain. TV dinners, oven pizzas, microwave meals, quick fixes is really what it was all about. And certainly in my life growing up, I grew up with a mother who was a chronic alcoholic. My father was a bank manager who worked and works really hard. So dinners, more often than not after school, was left to myself, my older sister, or my dad when he got home from work. And when my dad got home from work, after working a long day, he didn't want to have to, make a massively extravagant meal, whether it be healthy or unhealthy. So it was oven pizzas, it was processed chicken, it was oven chips, it was that sort of thing. And that's where really the bad habits started. And this isn't to blame my dad or my mum, it is what it is. I picked up the bad habits. And growing up, food wasn't the only bad habit, it was also drinking. I don't mean I was drinking alcohol as a child, what I mean is fizzy drinks, soda, pop, whatever you want to call it. That's what I used to drink, and squash, but mostly soda. Me and my dad, I remember when I can't remember, I was between 15 and 17, and we decided to stop drinking fizzy. We just decided to stop because it's all we would drink, and we would get through litres and litres and litres. Because that was our fluid, that was what our hydrant, that's what we got hydrated on. As a kid, I didn't like water. I think a lot of kids do that, they don't like water, there's no flavour, there's no sweetness, there's nothing, and children, if you start feeding them sweets and sugar, then they want more sweets and sugar. Now, that was only a very small step, was cutting the fizzy out. That wasn't because I wanted to lose weight or anything, that was purely really because my dad said so, and that's what I started doing. But getting back to bad habits, the bad habits is really the big problem, in my opinion, with weight. I believe there are some people that are addicted to fatty foods. Well, I think everyone's addicted to fatty food. I think it's in the human nature to want fat, because fat is what used to keep us alive, and now we live in big, lovely, warm houses with lovely, warm clothes. No lions and tigers out to kill us. We don't necessarily need the fats that we used to need 100, 200, 1,000, 10,000 years ago. Times have changed, and the human mentality of eating hasn't really changed. Now, as I said, one of my biggest problems was, and what I said in my Facebook post is that I am one of the laziest men in the world. And what I mean by that is, in my downtime, I like to either do nothing, very little, or move very little. I don't know why, that's just me. And I'm totally alright with that, that's just who I am. But laziness comes generally, inherently, with being overweight, because they kind of go hand in hand. Now, I was quite an active child. I didn't play sports, but during school I spent a lot of time with my best friend who owned a farm, and we used to literally be out all day, every day. Pretty active, but the problem was, you don't know, in my opinion, no matter how active you are, if you're eating oven pizzas, fizzy drink and all this other crap, then you're quickly going to realise that that is a bad habit. Actually, before I mention anything else, I should probably put a disclaimer in here, because I'm not an expert, I'm not a health expert, I'm not a fitness expert. I am just your average dude telling my story, and that's all it is. Take what you want from it. You can do as I do, or you can try and find out what's best for you, which is something I'll get onto later in the video. But yeah, so during my school times and sort of post-school, the bad habits were there, and they were really there. And I guess I started between primary school and secondary school. If you're in America, that's elementary school and high school. I guess I was pretty unhealthy. I had bad lunches at school, chocolate bars, crisps and all that crap. But I was more controlled in what I ate, because I wasn't cooking myself really. I wasn't getting my own food. I was really relying on mostly my dad for everything, partly my sister, and sometimes if my mum at the time was sober, it would be my mum. But it wasn't until I left school that I really started putting weight on. It was one, turning 18 and drinking alcohol, which I started drinking alcohol before 18, like most Brits do or did, which I drink an awful lot, and a lot of people around me were doing the same, and some of my friends who were drinking a lot were also extremely active, and you could even see some of them starting to put on weight. And I remember when two of my friends specifically started really getting into fitness, and I remember them basically cutting out the drink, and they were saying that, oh, you can't keep a certain percentage of body fat with alcohol and blah blah blah. And at the time, because I was drinking, I was thinking, yeah, whatever, you loser, we're having fun, you're blah blah blah, you're doing this, you're having a boring life because you're trying to be healthy and not doing this. It never really dawned on me how true their words were. Now, I've tried losing weight a few times, and I want to put a disclaimer in. The weight I've already lost, I didn't go into that wanting to lose weight. Let me just start off saying that. I have in the past tried losing weight, and I remember one specific time, which maybe spanned a year or two. At the time I was working on a farm, and I was working really hard. Long hours, hard work, every single day pretty much, with very few days off. During that time I was also going to the gym with my friends a lot, and I was really working hard, and I don't think I'd ever physically worked as hard in my entire life than I did when I was in the area of, I was about 19 to 21. During that period I lost a certain amount of weight, and I probably put on a certain amount of muscle as well, but I was also still going to the pub every night with my friends and drinking 5 to 6 beers every single night, and that basically kept me at an equilibrium that I probably didn't even realise at the time. And I never got down to as much as I am now, nowhere near. I also had this thing of not wanting to weigh myself too much. Until I started this weight loss journey, I never weighed myself. I was never really bothered. I never really wanted to know how much I weighed or how much I had lost, and I still am an advocate of not watching the pounds fall off, because that's when you're going to really notice that things are going fast or slow, or not how you want them. And my perfect metaphor for this is sitting at work and clock watching and waiting for the clock to go down. It never goes down fast, it always goes down super slow. Time seems to slow down and things seem different. And this is, in my opinion, the same with checking the scales. If you're checking the scales every single day, then you're going to notice all the fluctuations that human beings have, because we have fluctuations in weight day to day. You know, you can put on a pound or two or more from water weight, from this and this. You can lose a lot from being in a really hot day and sweating a lot. Coming back to my sort of original weight loss plan, I really lost that when I went to uni. When I went to uni at 23, which was after the farm, I stopped working out. Luckily for myself, I'd actually stopped drinking. I stopped drinking at uni because everyone around me was 17 to 18 to 20, maybe 21 oldest. And I was 23 to 25. And I just felt like I didn't really fit in with the drinking scene. When I was 18, it was such an amazing thing to go out, get drunk, and have that independent liberalism that comes from that feeling of that, going out and pulling girls, getting in fights, whatever it is. That was the fun of it at the time, and that wore off on me at uni. My mum died when I was 20 from alcoholism, and it wasn't that per se that made me stop drinking, but that's definitely an aspect that made me think about it. But Ironically, it was at uni when I started putting on more weight. And I say ironically, I think that most people put on weight at uni because you're so independent, there's so much fun to be had that you just go crazy. And coming back to what I said at the beginning of this video, I've already built the bad habits. Now, the bad habits are what really made me balloon out. At uni, I was eating oven pizza, I was eating everything I could find. Not only was it a problem with money, so I was living off my student loan, so I was buying cheap food, I was buying pure crap. I remember in my 3rd year, me and my housemate Kabir, who's an absolute living legend, went through this period where Asda's was selling Bisto, what was it? It was Bisto cottage pie, and it was like £1, and every day it was £1. So we'd buy these, and it was also, what else? It was the Young's fish pie as well. It was absolute crap. I remember in Britain the horse meat scandal came out that year, and it was literally those Bisto things that we were eating that was full of horse meat. Now, the horse meat never really bothered me, if I'm honest. Well, that went pretty fast. That's all I've got time for today, guys. This is going to be a 3-part series because I just can't fit it all into this one gameplay. I really appreciate you watching. I hope you learnt something. I hope maybe you learnt something about me you didn't know. I hope you're enjoying my open honesty that I'm trying to portray. And I really hope you like, comment and subscribe because it really does help my channel grow. Now, the next video really is going to be about leading up to the weight loss journey. I've already done the precursor to the weight loss journey, and then it really is sort of the year before last to the year I left uni when I really started making the changes, and that will be the next video. See you later, guys. Bye.